Welcome back, everybody, to Well Life Wednesday, where we have real conversations about mental health, emotional wellness, relationships, faith, and what it means to live a healthier and more balanced life. I'm your co host, Cristy, licensed clinical mental health counselor supervisor.
And I'm your co host, Iris, your licensed clinical addiction specialist associate. And we're so glad to have you join us today for season 2, episode 24, entitled Waiting on God Without Losing Your Mental Health.
That's right. This episode is for the person who has been praying, believing, working, waiting, and wondering when something is finally going to change. You may be waiting for a job opportunity, you may be waiting for healing, a relationship, and a financial breakthrough, a ministry opportunity, a home, an answer concerning your family, or direction for your next season. You may still believe in God, but emotionally, you're tired.
You're trying to remain hopeful, but the waiting has started affecting your mood, your sleep, your motivation, and your peace. You may find yourself asking God, did you forget about me? Did you hear me correctly?
Mhm.
Am I doing something wrong? Or why does it seem like everybody else is moving forward while I'm still standing still?
That's right, Iris. So today, we want to talk honestly about how to wait on God without ignoring your emotions, abandoning your mental health, or pretending that waiting doesn't hurt. But before we get started, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel at H3C PLLC. That's at YouTube at H3C PLLC.
And please like this episode, share it with someone that may be in a difficult waiting season, and leave us a comment. Let us know what you're currently believing God for and what has helped you maintain your peace while you wait.
We also want to remind everyone that this podcast is for educational and inspirational purposes. It is not a substitute for individual mental health treatment, substance use treatment, medical care, or crisis services. Okay. So let's talk about the emotional reality of waiting, Iris. When people talk about waiting on God, the conversation is often presented as though waiting should always feel peaceful, spiritual, and inspiring. And we all know that's not true.
Mhm.
A lot of us sometimes we don't like to wait. We're impatient. We want to move through. Let's go. Let's get this going. But it doesn't work like that in reality. We hear statements such as just trust God. Everything happens for a reason. We all heard that before, right?
Mhm.
God's timing is perfect. Yes, it is. But still, we don't like waiting. Or your breakthrough is coming. I know it's coming, but when?
Mhm.
And those statements can be encouraging, yes, but they do not always acknowledge the emotional reality of waiting. And I love this episode already.
Exactly, Christy. Waiting can be painful now.
Hmm.
Waiting can produce anxiety because you don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
It can produce sadness because you're grieving like the life you thought would have been now.
Hmm.
It can produce sadness because you are grieving the life you thought you would have by now. It can produce frustration because you're trying to do the right things, but you're not seeing the results. And there's a lot of times during the waiting process, this is where we fall apart.
Right.
The unknown, we begin to be impatient. It
Hmm.
should be here by now.
Right.
We start telling God what we need Him to do
Yeah.
quickly.
Quickly.
Mhm. And waiting can also bring up anger, disappointment, envy, loneliness, confusion, and even spiritual doubt. That's right. During this time, we do. We start doubting God. Where are you?
Hmm.
Like you said, you never leave me nor forsake me, but I'm out here now, all by myself.
I feel forsaken a little.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That is true. And experiencing those emotions does not mean you have lost your faith because you're human. You're human. Feeling tired does not mean you do not trust God. I trust Him with everything. It's just when you're in that impatient, when you're waiting because you're like, I know He coming because like
Mhm.
He's not gonna leave me or forsake me. But there's something to learn in the waiting, and that's what we forget. It's something that He wants us to get out of that, and we're so quick to get to the finish line. We're not stopping to experience the process. What's in the wait? What is the lesson I'm supposed to be learning here? Feeling disappointed does not mean you are ungrateful. Having questions does not mean you are rebellious. Listen, you should ask questions because questions bring clarity, knowledge. Sometimes people are carrying real emotional pain, but they are afraid to admit it because they believe that acknowledging the pain will make them appear spiritually weak. And I don't think that's the case, Iris. I think the more you
Mhm.
acknowledge that the reality, the real of the situation, the stronger that makes you. And then it also allows people to see I have some more things that I probably can pour into this person or point them in the right direction to give them a little bit more strength to make it through in their waiting process.
Mhm.
So when you don't be upfront and honest about your emotional pain, you could possibly be cutting yourself short or extending your waiting period longer.
Mhm.
Because sometimes
Mhm.
the answer might be that God wants to see what you're going to do. Are you going to turn to me? Yes, you're waiting, and I know you believe in me, but are you really coming to me? Are you really putting your face down on your bended knee and saying, God, I surrender? And then He going to step in? We get in our own way sometimes, Iris.
Chris, I don't know if you remember this when me and Sharon did our initial sermon together.
Yes, yeah, I remember.
Okay, so my title of my initial sermon was "While Waiting for the Movement, Give God a Praise,"
Ah,
and I talked about. I don't know why he brought this back up to my memory because this stuff I don't really like to remember. This funny though, but I asked, "What are you doing during the process? Why you waiting?
uh-huh.
Are you like the man?" I think I went from the scripture, the man at the pool of Bethesda. Everybody kept passing him by,
Yeah.
but he didn't give up. He was waiting his turn, even
Yeah.
though all these people were going ahead of him.
Mhm.
We got to realize, even during the waiting process, we got to keep moving. Sometimes we get stuck, like they say in this depression, and we don't want to move.
Mhm.
He done forgot about me, so I'm gonna throw my hands up. But no, like you said, during this process, during the waiting process, we got to keep moving. Put some action to it. Do some other things that around the house or in your life that you've been wanting to do.
Now, as you bring up a good point, I, I have some things on the altar, right? Some things I'm waiting on, and I have to really ask myself, what have I been doing in this period of waiting when I'm asking the Lord for all these things that I feel like I'm in a position now and I should have it by now.
Mm-hmm.
But I have to really ask myself, in this process, have I aligned myself to His will and His plan in order for me to achieve and get to that point? 'Cause
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm ready, but the Lord obviously doesn't think I'm ready. So obviously something's out of alignment.
Mm-hmm.
So we really got to check ourselves, right? We get sad and we get down and we get depressed about things, but
Yeah,
really we have to really look at ourselves.
that's it.
We got to be
This this
honest with ourselves. Go ahead.
this podcast is for me
Hmm.
because I'm in my waiting process,
Yeah.
and and you asking yourself like, okay, I'm being still, but what's next? Where am I? It was one of these we just said. What direction am I going to now?
Hmm.
I feel like I'm lining myself up, like you said. What? Tell me, show me, what's the next step, or where I'm not in the right order,
Hmm.
so I can get there. So even doing this every day is not what they say a bed of roses.
Right.
Sometimes it is frustrating not knowing the unknown because you know where you should. I feel like I should be by
Right.
now.
Hmm.
So even though it's frustrating, I still got to keep moving. I
Yeah.
can't allow it to set me back
No.
or have me turn around a little bit. Now, when I was doing this, I
It's
had
going
so much,
off. Right.
you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So you got to keep going, even during the difficult times.
Yeah. And I
Like, go ahead.
and the devil knows that, Iris.
Yeah, yeah.
So we not only battling our own stuff and trying to get his will, the devil knows that, like, if she really lock in,
Mm-hmm.
if he really, really understands that, if he really surrenders, there's no stopping him.
Right, right.
And I know I need to increase my prayer life. I know I need to get in my word. All these things, I'm holding myself up. I know it, but Cristy, why haven't you done anything about it?
Yeah, yeah.
So when I really get sick and tired, and I know what I need to do, and that's what we all need to say.
Mm-hmm.
Are you really in His will? Are you locked in for real with the Lord?
That's it.
Because we can say it, we can quote scriptures, we can do all of that and stand on the mountaintop all day, but in when the lights are down and you don't have nobody looking, are you in? Are you really locked in? Are you in His will?
Mm-hmm.
And that's real talk.
That's real talk. Some people have been taught to suppress their feelings in the name of faith. In the name of faith, they may say, "I'm blessed and highly favored." Oh, we hear that a lot. While probably crying every night. They may continue serving everybody else when feeling emotionally depleted.
Mhm.
They may post encouraging scriptures, outline, but feel hopeless when they put their phone down.
Right.
There's a lot of people walking around in the world. They're displaying this.
Yeah. You may have faith and still acknowledge that the wait is difficult.
Hmm.
And I promise you it's difficult. You can say, I believe God is with me, and I'm also struggling today. I know He right there, but it's still hard. It doesn't. It's still hard because that humanity still seeps in. You still got to contend with other forces,
Hmm.
and if you don't have the fortitude switch when those things come up and say, I believe God and I know it. I sure enough believe it. When those
Hmm.
little negative thoughts seep in, you got to turn that thing around automatically because they're going to seep. We're not saying these things aren't going to happen, but you got to stand firm in your foundation and your faith and your truth, right?
Right.
Both statements can be true. Mental health is not about pretending that negative emotions do not exist. And so, and the same thing with faith. I'm still gonna have bad days. I'm still gonna not be at my best. But that
Hmm.
doesn't mean I don't love God and I don't know His word is true.
Right. Right.
Mental health involves recognizing, understanding, and responding to your emotions in a healthy way. So when
That's
those
it.
things come up, I need to pull out my Bible. When those things
Hmm.
come up, I need to go in my prayer closet. When those things come up, I got to pick out stuff that I know is going to get me through. I know my coping skills. I know I need to get out this house and get some fresh air and surround myself with positive people. I know I need to go to those group meetings instead of sitting in there and letting the devil play with my mind and those negative thoughts seep in.
Right.
I was, we're not saying it's not going to happen, but what are you doing when it comes up? How are you
Mm.
setting yourself up for success? How are you making sure you don't stay in that dark hole? It's action, something you have to actually do to prevent it.
Right. And when emotions are ignored, they do not unusually disappear. They often come out in other ways. They may show up as irritability, emotional eating, impulsive spending, drinking, substance use, isolation, overworking, excessive sleeping, insomnia, anger towards loved ones, or a lack of motivation. That's
Some
what happens when we ignore it.
Exactly, Iris. Exactly. Sometimes we say we're waiting patiently, but our bodies are showing us that we are emotionally overwhelmed. We may experience headaches, muscle tensions, racing thoughts, stomach problems, fatigue, rapid heartbeat. Your body may be responding to ongoing uncertainty even when you are trying to convince yourself that everything is fine.
That's an important part, Christy, because we all have dealt with that at some point.
That-
the fatigue, the racing thoughts, can't sleep at night, all that. But faith does not require us to disconnect from our bodies or deny the impact that the stress has on us. God created us whole. Our spiritual, emotional, and mental, relational, and physical well being are connected. It's all one.
For those of us on YouTube, take a moment. For those of you on YouTube, take a moment. I want you to finish this sentence. The hardest part of waiting for me is, ask yourself that question. What's the hardest part when you're in your waiting period, your waiting season? Your answer may be uncertainty. It may be watching other people receive what you have prayed for, my God.
Mm.
It may be not knowing whether to keep waiting or move in another direction. Whatever it is, naming it can be the beginning of addressing it, right? And while
Mm.
you're there, subscribe to our YouTube channel at H3CPLLC. That's H3CPLLC. Like this episode and share it with someone who needs this conversation.
Let's talk about when waiting becomes an emotional burden.
Mhm.
Cristy, how can someone recognize when waiting has become more than ordinary disappointment and is beginning to negatively affect their mental health?
Well, one sign, Iris, is when the waiting starts controlling your daily life.
Mm.
Okay. When anything impacts your daily life, that's a red flag.
Right.
You become so focused on what has not happened that you are unable to appreciate or participate in what is happening right now. Okay. You may constantly check your email for a job offer. You may repeatedly check someone's social media page, hoping for a sign that a relationship will be restored. You may spend hours researching symptoms while waiting for a medical answer. We all been there, right? You may wake up every day feeling defeated because your situation still looks the same.
Another sign is when your self worth becomes attached to the outcome.
Mm,
You may begin telling yourself, if I were good enough, this would have happened by now. Maybe God is blessing everyone except me. Maybe I'm not worthy of love. Maybe I missed my opportunity. These thoughts can slowly change your confidence and your emotional well being.
yeah.
That's why we have to be so careful what we speak out of our mouths and what we allow inside our ears and heart. It determines how we're going to feel that day.
Mhm. It does. Waiting can become dangerous when delay turns into a personal indictment. A person, because it hasn't happened, now you're attacking yourself. A delay does not automatically mean you're rejected.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was saying, oh, the Lord forgot about me. He don't. That, a closed door does not mean you're worthless. A difficult season does not mean your life has no purpose.
Mm.
You have to be careful not to interpret every delay as evidence that something is wrong with you. It's not. You got to dig deeper. Like I said before, it's something in that waiting period that you have to get.
Yes, yeah, yeah.
Don't turn it around. It is woe. Don't woe is me. It's not. You're hindering yourself. I'd like to turn it around and say, I'm going through this. It's a lot. So I know something on the other side of the through got to be.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to get there and see it.
Yeah.
He doesn't give us more than we can bear. So the fact that he's challenging me with this means he thinks very high.
He really does. He thinks so highly of us.
That's how I have to get myself through it. Like, man, he got a lot of belief in me. I guess you right, Lord. I got it. I got this.
Waiting can also become unhealthy when people put their entire lives on hold. Wow. They may say, I will be happy when I get married. I will start living when I get that job.
Mm.
I will take care of myself when my children are doing better. I will enjoy life once my finances improve. But if you continuously postpone your peace, you may miss years of your life waiting for one specific outcome.
Wow, Iris, that's powerful.
But there are people that out here are really saying that.
Mhm.
They're going to put everything on hold until the situation changes.
I mean, you don't know when that's gonna happen.
Right.
I mean, they were out in the wilderness for how long?
Listen.
I mean, it was due to their own not listening, but you don't know how long that's gonna take. The Lord ain't saying for you to stop in the wait. You still supposed to be moving and doing stuff. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Iris, I cut you off.
No, I was going to say, when people hear the word like process,
Mm-hmm.
it's not quick.
No,
That means there's some stages.
there you go.
So, like you said, it's not going to be. Now, God is able to do anything now, but it's not normally a quick turnaround like that. When he's got you in stages,
Mm-hmm.
oh, let me get her. Oh, okay, I see where she is now. Oh, let's see what she's doing the next stage, and that's kind of normally because he's building out. Normally, times he's showing us something. He's teaching us something. You know, you made it through that, and you went through that for a long period of time. You trusted me, like you said, the people in the wilderness. They trusted me for a long time. They didn't give up. They kept going, and they still had what they needed.
Uh oh, that's it right there. In the midst
Yeah,
of your
in the
wait,
midst of it, wait, they still had what they needed,
not what you wanted,
but what you needed.
but what you needed. We forget that part, Iris.
Mm-hmm.
You might think it's your worst season, but stuff still got paid, stuff still got accomplished, tasks still got completed. You still woke up, had the activities of your life. Waiting on God does not mean refusing to live. It does not mean you stop making healthy decisions. It does not mean you avoid opportunities because they do not look exactly like what you expected. It does not mean you remain in a harmful environment because you're waiting for someone else to change. I'm gonna say that again. It does not mean you remain in a harmful environment while you're waiting for someone else to change.
Now,
You in your waiting period, and you waiting on somebody else who in their waiting period to do. Come on now, that don't even make sense.
come on. And we need to say this clearly. Faith should not be used to keep someone trapped in abuse,
Ooh.
danger, exploitation, and severe emotional distress.
Mhm.
Now, that ain't faith.
No, it's not.
There are times when prayer should be accompanied by professional help, safety planning, medical treatment, financial counseling, legal assistance, and support from trusted community resources. And if anybody is dealing with abuse, danger, exploitation, or severe emotional distress, please seek the help that you need.
That's good. Seeking help is not a sign that you stop trusting God. Therapy can be part of your support system. Medication, when prescribed and monitored appropriately, can be part of your treatment. Recovery programs can be part of your healing. Support groups can be part of your process. God can work through trained professionals, responsible treatment, supportive relationships, and practical resources.
We also need to pay attention when waiting leads to persistent hopelessness, major changes in your sleep or appetite, frequent panic, loss of interest in normal activities, increased substance use, or thoughts of self harm. Those are not things that should simply be dismissed. I just need to pray more. When you're dealing with things that of that nature, uh, feeling hopelessness, major changes in your sleep and your panicking and loss of interest, and your substance use increase, these are for sure signs that you need to start looking for that support.
Yeah.
Because things are starting to shift now. You're doing things that normally wouldn't linger on this long, or you increase, like you said, substance use. If you're doing it almost every day when you're probably doing it once a week, and it's been going on for about 3 months now, it's
Yeah.
severe now. So
True.
you need to seek that additional support because things has become unhealthy.
Absolutely, Iris. Prayer can be meaningful and powerful, but serious symptoms deserve serious attention.
Mm-hmm.
You do not have to choose between faith and mental health care. You are allowed to pray and schedule the appointment. You can read your Bible and attend therapy. You can worship and follow your treatment plan.
And we want you to do all those things.
All those things. Let's talk about waiting versus being stuck, Iris.
Okay.
What's the difference? Healthy waiting is active. Being stuck is passive. Healthy waiting may involve preparation, reflection, growth, planning, healing, and continuing to take responsible steps. You hear those INGs, those are action words.
Mm-hmm.
Being stuck often involves fear, avoidance, and refusing to move unless everything is guaranteed.
And Chrissy, sometimes people say they're waiting on God, but they're actually waiting for fear to disappear before they take action.
Mm,
They may be waiting to feel completely confident before applying for the job. They may be waiting for all uncertainty to disappear before starting school, ending an unhealthy relationship, or setting boundaries, or asking for help.
yeah.
But courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is taking a wise step, even when some fear is still present. Now, that's courage.
Yes. Yes, Iris. Fear stops a lot of people. Growing, it's hindered me in my early adulthood. If I felt like I wasn't going to be successful, I wasn't even going to try it. There was no attempt. There was no action. Nope. I know because I let the fear seep in and take over and rule.
Mm-hmm.
And the fear made decisions for me. Where now, if I just take the step, I could still be uncertain about things, but I'm gonna try because two things gonna happen. One or two. I'm gonna be successful or it ain't gonna work out and I'm gonna try again.
Mm-hmm.
There are also situations where people are waiting for God to do something that requires their participation. You may be praying for employment, but you also need to update your resume and submit application. A job ain't just gonna fall in your lap. There's still some stuff that you got to do on your end. While God still does what he does best, you still
Come
got to do
on.
what you do. You may be praying for healthy relationships, but you also need to establish boundaries and change the way you choose relationships.
Mm-hmm.
You may be praying for better mental health, but you may need to attend therapy consistently, practicing coping skills, improve your sleep habits, and reduce the use of alcohol and other substances.
And waiting on God does not remove personal responsibility.
No,
No. Faith and action can work together. You can believe that God is directing your path while also taking the next responsible step that is available to you.
here's a helpful question, Iris. What is within my control during this waiting season? You may not control when an opportunity arises, but you can control how you prepare.
Mm.
You may not control another person's decisions, but you control your boundaries. You may not control every medical outcome, but you can control whether you attend your appointments and follow professional recommendations.
Mm-hmm.
You may not control how quickly circumstances change, but you can control whether you care for yourself during the process.
That's good. Here's another important question. Am I waiting on God or am I waiting on a specific outcome that I have already decided God must give me?
Mm, mm,
Now, that can be a difficult question.
sure can.
Sometimes our distress comes from believing that there is only one acceptable answer. We may pray, God, have your way, while internally saying, but your but your way needs to look exactly like the plan I created.
Wow.
How you praying have your way, but you saying it need to look like what you
But it's
intended,
really my way.
what you create.
Mm-hmm. Iris, that's where surrender becomes challenging.
Mm-hmm.
You like, let's sing, I surrender all. No, you don't.
Mm-hmm.
Surrender
Mm-hmm.
does not mean you stop caring. It means you release the belief that your peace can only exist if the outcome happens exactly the way you want it to.
Mm-hmm.
If you're really surrendering all, you surrender what your attachment to it, what your thoughts about it, all of that. Because if you surrender and God provides and does what He does best, it might not look like what you wanted it
Right.
to. Because guess that that's not what you needed. You can have a desire without allowing that desire to become your entire identity. Because what if that was desire for that season, and now God says you're past that, it's
Mm-hmm.
time to let that go. I want you to walk in this direction, but you're still holding on to that.
You can say, this is what I hope for. This is what I'm praying for. But while continue caring for my mind, my body, my responsibilities, and my relationships while I wait.
For everyone listening, pause and ask yourself, what part of my life have I placed on hold? What healthy step have I delayed because I'm waiting to feel completely certain?
Mm-hmm.
What can I do this week that supports my emotional wellness, even if my circumstances do not immediately change? If this discussion is helping you, please take a moment, like, and share this episode. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, H3C PLLC, and leave us a comment about one healthy way you can plan to take this week. You plan to take this week.
How compassion makes waiting harder. Comparison, I'm sorry. How comparison makes waiting harder. One of the things that can make waiting emotional difficult is comparison. Social media give us a constant access to other people's announcements, celebrations, achievements, relationships, homes, vacation, business, and ministry opportunities. When you are waiting in a season, someone else's celebration can feel like evidence that you are falling behind.
Yeah.
And we have allowed social media, the images and everything, for some people shape us into what we want to be. And some of that stuff is AI generated.
It's not realistic
It's
whatsoever.
not realistic. These people not necessarily have all those things that we see and we want to have in our lives. Because then, like they said, we start comparing. We want this. We not. You don't know what people went through to get that.
You
You
don't
don't
know
know what they
what
connected to.
right. You don't know what the waiting period for them looks
Yeah,
like. Be
look
careful.
like.
Be careful what you're asking for. I want what they have. No, you
Mhm.
don't.
Right, right.
And that does not mean that you're a bad person. You can genuinely be happy for someone and still feel sadness about your own situation. Two emotions can exist at the same time. That is very true. You can congratulate a friend on her engagement and still feel lonely when you go home. You can celebrate someone's pregnancy and still grieve your own fertility journey. You can applaud someone's promotion while feeling disappointed about being overlooked. All that can be true.
Mhm. The problem comes when comparison it becomes a constant and begins shaping your view of yourself.
There you go.
You may start believing everyone else is progressing while you're failing, But social media rarely shows the entire story. It shows the announcement, not always the years of struggle behind it. It shows the smiling picture, not necessarily the emotional or financial cost.
That's right, Iris. Someone else's timeline is not a measurement of your worth. Do you hear that? Someone
Hmm.
else's timeline is not a measurement of your worth. Life
Right.
does not unfold on one universal schedule. People marry at different ages. People begin careers at different stages. People
Hmm.
return to school later in life. People rebuild after divorce, addiction, illness, grief, financial loss, and trauma. Your path may look different without being less meaningful.
Hmm. Again, during the waiting season, it may be necessary to create boundaries around social media. That does not mean you are jealous or unsupportive. It may simply mean you are protecting your mental health. You might limit how much time you spend online, mute certain content temporarily, stop checking pages that trigger your excessive thinking, or take regular breaks. All this is fine. And you know what? I think this is a good idea for people to implement because
Mhm.
we have allowed social media. It's in the phones are in our hands or in our tablets or somewhere where we. That's all we do. That's all you see. People can't eat dinner, can't interact with their families because social media has it's crippling us
That's right,
to
Iris.
a certain degree.
It is. Protecting your peace is not the same as avoiding reality. If I know I got to start hitting that block button or uninterested button on my social media site
Hmm.
for shopping, I got to do that so I can because I know I have a goal. Every time I'm scrolling, I see an outfit or I see something that I don't need it.
Hmm.
But in order for me, I have to set boundaries for myself. It's recognizing when certain inputs are increasing your anxiety, resentment, or self criticism. Instead of asking, why is their life moving faster than my ex? What is this season teaching me?
Hmm.
What progress have I made that I may be overlooking? What blessings or opportunities are present in my life right now?
Gratitude does not erase grief, but it can help broaden your focus. You do not have to deny what is missing in order to appreciate what is present.
I like. Let's give our listeners some practical strategies for protecting their mental health while waiting. The first strategy is to name what you are feeling without judging yourself.
Mhm.
Instead of saying, I should not feel this way, try saying, I feel disappointed today because this matters to me. That statement creates room for honesty and self comparison. Compassion, I'm sorry.
Mhm. Second strategy is to separate the facts from fear. A fact may be, I have not received a response yet. The fear may be, I will never receive another opportunity. A fact may be, the relationship ended. The fear may be, no one will ever love me. The fact may be, my financial situation is difficult right now. The fear may be, my life will always be unstable. Your fears may feel real, but feelings are not always predictions.
Oh, yeah, that's true. The third strategy is to create structure in your day. Waiting can make time feel empty and unproductive. A consistent routine can produce anxiety and support emotional stability. I'm sorry, a consistent routine can reduce anxiety and support emotional stability. Try to maintain regular times for waking up, eating meals, taking medications as prescribed, working, exercising, praying, resting, and connecting with others.
The fourth strategy is to stay connected to safe people. Waiting becomes heavier when you carry it alone. Choose people who can listen without judging you, rushing you, or giving you shallow advice.
Mhm.
Sometimes you do not need someone tell you everything will work out. You may need someone to say, I understand that this is hard and I'm here with you.
That's true, Iris. I just had that um, situation happen um, at the beginning of the week. Grief can show up at any time for people,
Mhm.
and people who know me know that is a hard thing for me to deal with, to support people who are in their grief. And I think I'm getting better at it, but it was a time where I just felt like I didn't know what to say or do, and the only thing that would come out, well, it'll get better, to be all right. I can't say that because I don't know if it will for them. Like, I feel like that was just a blanket statement where I wanted to connect more and be able to do something. So I like that. I understand that this is hard for you right now because we've all dealt with grief in some way, shape, or form. It doesn't necessarily have to be somebody dying. It could be grief of a situation or a loss of a job or a season or a transition. It can look like that. So you can understand when you can have empathy for how someone could feel just for a loss and just
Mhm.
being there to connect on that moment with somebody. So I think that is a much healthier way of strategy of handling that. The fifth strategy is to develop more than one source of meaning. When your entire identity is connected to one prayer request, the waiting can consume you. Wow.
Mhm.
Continue developing your relationships, interests, health, spiritual life, creativity, education, career, and community involvement. Your life is bigger than the one thing you are waiting to receive.
The
It does,
sixth. Go ahead.
I just
I'm
want to
sorry,
say
Jason.
the one thing that you're waiting on doesn't have to be the end all or be all. There's other things there's more to you than that. You have many roles and many hats. And
Right.
so when you're just fixated on that one thing you're waiting on, the other things can be neglected. And so you
Mhm.
just want to make sure that a healthy way is to still pray for that and still do the other things that brings you joy.
That's so true. The sixth strategy is to set limits on rumination. Rumination is simply thinking about the same problem without reaching a resolution. You may replay conversations, imagine the worst case scenario, or constantly ask why something has not happened. When you notice that pattern, gentle redirect your attention. You might journal for 15 minutes, pray about the concern, identify one action step, and then intentionally return to the present moment.
Yeah. The seventh stage is grounding. Practice grounding. When anxiety pulls you into the future, grounding helps bring you back to the present. Take a slow breath. Notice your feet on the floor. Identify 5 things you see, 4 things you can touch, 3 things you can hear, 2 things you can smell, and 1 thing you can taste. Then remind yourself, I do not have to solve my entire future today.
That statement is so important. You do not need every answer today. You only need enough clarity for the next healthy step. And I think that's what people need to get in their mind. Just enough clarity for the next step.
Yeah. The eighth strategy is to allow yourself to grieve. Sometimes waiting involves loss. You may be grieving time, expectations, relationships, opportunity, or the version of life you thought you would have. Grief does not always mean something that has died. Grief can occur whenever reality is different from what you deeply hoped for.
Yes, sir. The ninth strategy is to ask for professional support when needed. Therapy can help you process disappointment, challenge unhelpful thoughts, improve coping skills, establish boundaries, and recognize patterns that may be keeping you emotionally stuck. Substance use treatment may be appropriate when alcohol and drugs have become a way of escaping the waiting.
And the 10th strategy is to redefine what progress looks like. Progress may not always be the arrival of the answer. Progress may be sleeping better. Progress may be applying for 3 jobs instead of avoiding the process. Progress may be attending your therapy appointment. Progress may be going 1 week without checking someone's social media page. Progress may be feeling the sadness without returning to an unhealthy coping behavior.
And sometimes the evidence that you're growing is not that situation change. Sometimes the evidence that you are growing is not that situation change. It is that you are responding differently.
Mhm. Very true. That deserves to be recognized. If one of these strategies stood out to you, leave the number or the name of the strategy in the comment section. Subscribe to H3CPLLC, like this episode, and share it with someone who may be struggling to maintain their mental health during a waiting season.
We also want to remind our listeners that faith includes space for lament.
Lament.
Lament, I'm sorry. Lament is an honest expression of pain, grief, confusion, and longing before God. Throughout scripture, we see people asking questions, expressing sorrow, and crying out for help. Honest prayer is still prayer.
That's right, Iris. You do not have to perform for God. You do
Mm-mm.
not have to use perfect language. You do not have to pretend that you are peaceful when you are overwhelmed. Your prayer may sound like, God, I trust you, but I'm tired. God, I believe you are with me, but I do not understand this season. God, help me release the timeline I created. God, show me what I can do while I wait. God, help me recognize when I need additional support.
There is something freeing about bringing your full emotional experience into faith instead of hiding it.
Mm,
Faith is not emotional numbness. Trusting God does not mean never feeling afraid. It means fear does not have to become the only guiding for your decisions.
that's right. Waiting can become a place where you can learn patience, but it can also become a place where you can learn boundaries, courage, discipline, emotional awareness, self respect, and surrender. The season may not look productive from the outside, but meaningfully internal work may still be taking place.
And sometimes the answer does not come in the form we expected. The relationship may not be restored, but you may become emotional healthier. The original opportunity may not return, but a different path may open. The situation may not change immediately, but you may become stronger, wiser, and more supported while moving through it.
We want to be careful not to romanticize pain, Iris.
Hmm.
Difficult seasons are difficult, but we also do not want you to believe that your life has no value until the waiting ends. You are still worthy now. You still have purpose now, and you can still experience moments of peace, connection, growth, and joy right now. As we close, we want you to take a slow breath and reflect on these words.
I can trust God and still be honest about my emotions.
I do not have to ignore my mental health to prove that I have faith.
A delay does not define my worth.
I can take healthy action while I wait.
I am allowed to seek support.
I do not have to compare my timeline to someone else's.
My life is still meaningful in the present moment.
I can release what I cannot control and take responsibility for what I can control.
I do not need every answer today. I can focus on the next healthy step.
And I can wait without abandoning myself.
Before you leave, make sure you subscribe to the H3 Consultant PLLC YouTube channel and www.youtube.com/at H3CPLLC.
Like this episode, share it with your family, friends, church members, coworkers, or anyone who may be struggling through a waiting season.
And leave us a comment answering the question, what is one thing you can do to protect your mental health while you wait? Your response may encourage someone else who is experiencing a similar struggle.
Thank you for joining us for season 2, episode 23 of Well Life Wednesday, titled Waiting on God Without Losing Your Mental Health. Remember, waiting does not mean your life has stopped. Continue caring for yourself, continue using your resources, continue taking healthy steps, and continue making room for both faith and emotional honesty.
Take care of your mind,
Take care of your body
take care of your spirit,
and
and
continue
continue
living
living
well.
well.
Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube at H3CPLLC. Turn on your notification bell so you don't miss upcoming episodes of Well Life Wednesday podcast.
Like, share, and leave a comment. We look forward to continuing these conversations with you.
Bye, everybody.